Brianna Johnson adjusted the strap of her bag over her shoulder as she made her way down the narrow aisle of the airplane, scanning for her seat. Row 3, Seat A, First Class. A warm feeling of pride bubbled up inside her as she settled into the plush chair. It wasn't her first time flying first class, but each time she did, it reminded her of how far she had come. Growing up in a small town in Georgia, Brianna had put in the hard work to create a name for herself. She had pushed herself through college, built a successful marketing career, and now she was on her way to a major business conference. This was a milestone, one that marked just how much she had achieved. As she settled in and sipped a glass of water, her eyes fell on an elderly man standing in the aisle, squinting at his boarding pass. He seemed confused, his hand tightly gripping a cane. His white hair was neatly combed, and his deep blue blazer proudly displayed an old military patch. Brianna recognized it instantly. He was a veteran. She watched as he checked his ticket again, then glanced towards the back of the plane. It was clear that his seat was there, yet he stood still, uncertain. The other passengers bustled around him, too wrapped up in their own travel plans to notice his struggle. Brianna noticed the way his shoulders sagged, his tired body weighed down by the confusion. Without hesitation, she unbuckled her seatbelt and stood up. "Excuse me, sir," she called out, her voice soft yet firm. The man turned in surprise. "Would you like to switch seats with me?" she asked, offering him a kind smile. "You can have my seat here in first class." His eyes widened with shock. "Oh, no, dear. That's not necessary." "I insist," Brianna replied, her voice gentle but firm. "You've served our country. It's the least I can do to say thank you." Nearby, the flight attendant overheard and gave Brianna an approving nod. "That's very kind of you," she said, her smile warm. The elderly man hesitated, but Brianna saw the way his weary eyes softened. Finally, he nodded. "Well, if you're sure, young lady." "I'm sure," Brianna said, gently grabbing her bag and signaling for him to take her seat. As she moved to the back of the plane, the other passengers murmured in admiration. Brianna squeezed into the cramped middle seat, wedged between two other travelers. It was a far cry from the luxury of first class, but she didn't mind. As the plane took off, Brianna leaned back and pulled out her phone, scrolling absent-mindedly through her messages. She hardly noticed when a flight attendant approached a few minutes later. "Miss Johnson?" the attendant asked. Brianna looked up, a bit confused. "The gentleman you gave your seat to asked me to give you this." She handed Brianna a neatly folded napkin. Still puzzled, Brianna took the napkin, unfolding it with curiosity. Inside, scrawled in shaky handwriting, was a note. "Dear Miss Johnson, I've flown many times in my life, but today is the first time someone has ever given up their seat for me. I served in the Army for over 40 years, and in my old age, I sometimes feel forgotten. But today, you reminded me that kindness still exists. My late wife always believed in paying kindness forward. In her honor, I would like to do something for you. I hope you won't mind checking your email when you land." Brianna's eyebrows furrowed in confusion. Email? How did he know her email address? But then, tucked inside the napkin, she found a small business card. It was his, Colonel James Patterson, with an email address scribbled on it. Curious and a little puzzled, Brianna held on to the note for the remainder of the flight, turning it over and over in her hands, wondering what he meant. The plane landed, and Brianna quickly connected to Wi-Fi while making her way through the airport. She checked her email, scrolling through the usual work messages, until she spotted one from an unfamiliar sender. James Patterson. The subject line read, "A small token of gratitude." Her heart skipped a beat as she opened the email. "Dear Brianna, first, let me thank you again for your kindness today. While we were in the air, I did some quick research on you. Yes, even old veterans know how to use technology. I see that you're a hardworking woman who's built an incredible career, and I also see that you're passionate about helping others. My wife and I used to run a foundation that supported young women of color in business and leadership. Before she passed, she asked me to continue her work and invest in those who truly deserve it. I believe you are one of those people, so here's my offer. a fully paid scholarship to Harvard Business School's Executive Leadership Program. If you choose to accept it, consider it a thank you for your kindness and a way to continue paying it forward. Let me know if you're interested. With gratitude, James. Brianna stopped in her tracks, her breath catching in her throat. A scholarship to Harvard Business School? It was a dream she had always held close, but the cost of such an executive program was astronomical. She had never even dared to consider it a real possibility. Tears welled up in her eyes as the magnitude of the gesture hit her. All because she had given up her seat. She looked back at the message, rereading it as disbelief slowly turned into excitement. Quickly, she typed a response. Dear Colonel Patterson, I don't even know what to say. I am beyond grateful and honored by your generous offer. Thank you for this incredible opportunity. I promise to make the most of it and to pay it forward, just like your wife did. With gratitude, Brianna. As she hit send, something inside her shifted. One small act of kindness had changed her life forever. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more inspiring stories every day.